We are live in the Dead Zone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. I got some new stuff we're going to talk about tonight. Oh no, my password's not working. Let's see if I can get it working right. Let's see if this is the correct one. No, this is not right. Oh no, I can't get in. Who's here in with me? JJX Vlog, come on in, girl. Thanks for coming. I'm trying to figure out how to lock myself out. Oh no, I locked myself out. There's only 30,000 passwords in my head. Let's see if I can find the right one. Oh no. Yay! I remember the right one. Okay. Let's go ahead and get locked in here. And I can come and talk to you all. We're going to talk a little bit about physical therapy, obviously, as well as we're going to talk about some stuff I think what's going on YouTube, and I'm kind of curious if you guys are experiencing the same thing, as well as what is this thing behind me? JJS Vlogs, done, share, like you, awesome. Thank you so much, JJS. Thank you so much. I much appreciate it very much. I'm going to go ahead and share us out too while I'm at it. Let's see, I got Twitter here. I'm going to share us out on Twitter. And I think I fixed this, so I should be able to also share us out on my Facebook. So let's see if I get this working right. Cross my fingers that I got this working right with my Facebook. I think I did. Yep, I got it working. That took me a little while to get my Facebook connected with this old laptop. Okay, post. Here we go. All right. Let's see what we can get in here. Let me go ahead and refresh. Thank you, JJS. Thanks for coming. So far, it seems like you are the only one in here, or you left, and I'm the only one in here, which is okay. We'll go ahead and wait for a few more people to hopefully come in. I'll work on that thing behind me. Oh, she folded over on me. Uh-oh. Oh no, my back part fell off. That's what happened. I got my green screen. Or quasi-green screen, however you want to think of it. It's bent now though. I had it nice and straight. Oh well, I guess I'll have to straighten it back out again. But I got my green screen at some point here. I gotta work on that a little bit more. Maybe I'll straighten that out here. Put it on the floor. Maybe it'll stretch out if I put it on the floor. That's a problem for another day. Ugh. That's a lot of work. I got my my little mouse here. Kind of cool. Hopefully working. Yeah, that's much better. I gotta move everybody though. Move this, and now we can get rocking. Here we go. Let's see. Let's go ahead and share us out on this. Whoa! Hello, hello, hello. Many hearts and roses. Thank you so much for coming. I got a thumbs down already. Awesome. Christine Wellington, come on in. Hey, 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 AJPT, come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in and get connected. I got 5 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down, so I'm doing all right, I guess. We're going to go ahead and get talking here in a few minutes. We're going to talk about some disc issues, because my next 4 actual videos are going to be on lumbar disc issues. How are you, host? Miss Christine, I'm doing just fine. We have a storm here, so hopefully the storm has cleared. It looks like it has, and so my video is pretty clear at this point, which is quite nice. How are you doing? So today we're going to talk a little bit about the disc, kind of understand a little bit of the anatomy and what happens with the disc as we age, and what can go wrong with it, as well as we're going to kind of start to look at the next 4 videos of my next series. So I just got done with the snapping hip syndrome series, at least for a little while, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about back issues and specifically lumbar disc issues over the next 4 videos. The rain to break the heat and my headaches. Yeah, headaches are something else, especially if they're pressure-based headaches. If you have a lot of pressure type pain, what I call suboccipital headaches. But if you're having migraines and stuff like that due to the change in barometric pressure, that doesn't help either. We got 4 watching, so we're going to see. Let me go ahead and refresh here for a second. Probably have less than that. We have people coming in and out. Oh, Miss Ernie Hatmaker. Miss Ernie, hey, 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 she says. Hi, Miss Ernie Hatmaker, how you doing, girl? I saw Ed's video today, or this morning, I should say, it was today, this morning, getting that septic system going, I see. I'm telling you, you got yourself a magical guy there. That guy does everything. I can't believe that. That's a lot of work you guys have done. Miss Ernie Hatmaker shared me out. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Miss Ernie. And so, we're going to talk about this disc. I just was hoping the 4 would stay, but we'll see what happens. People come in and go, and probably they're on 1 or 2 devices, and the way YouTube is set up nowadays, you can't do 2 things at once. Ed's doing it all. Man. That's a lot of work he's done so far. That is quite impressive. Hey, what's the dimensions of your house? What's the length and width? It looked pretty long is that like 52, is that 52 feet, 60 feet, 72 feet? How long is that? Like a, I was thinking maybe like between 50 and 60 feet length, and it looks like maybe 25 or 30 feet in width. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get 2,560 square. Oh, okay, the house is at 64 by 42. Okay, wow, that's a lot of space, girl. Man, you're gonna be able to do all kinds of video vlogs. Ed's gonna get the whole place with models. You wait. Man. All right. So there's 5 watching. So if you guys have any questions at all, this video is basically we're going to talk about disc issues. My next 4 videos are going to be on my I guess I should say my series, but my next 4 videos as a series is going to be on lumbar disc and disc issues of the spine, specifically lower back. So we're going to talk, my first video this week is going to be about what is the disc, you know, the description of the disc, different types of disc issues, you know, what's the misnomers or the wrong terms used for disc issues, like slip disc. That's kind of like the wrong term, though it's been thrown around for a long time. Your disc literally doesn't slip. Though I can see why you would say that when you look at the bone above and below, why I guess your vertebrae could slip or slide forwards, but you have the bones on the back side, so it's not like, you know, anyways. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to do treatment techniques you can do at home, kind of like a revamped version of my old video that I did on disc issues way back, probably 5 months ago at least. And then we're going to go into some surgical stuff that they do for disc issues, and then we'll see what happens. Maybe, and I say this in quotations, maybe we'll do my 4th video back in the clinic on back issues. Otherwise, we'll do it, you know, kind of like what we would do here. So that's all up in the air. Needless to say, it took a lot of work to do that 4th video in that snapping hip series. And so far, you know, it's a little bit better than my other 3 videos, but the kind of work that I put into that 4th video, you know, what I got out of that, you know, views and subscribers and watch hours and stuff like that, was really no difference between the first 3 videos and that 4th video. So I did put a lot of extra time and effort in that, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that again if I'm not going to see the outcome. So who knows, to be determined. All right, so I got 4 watching right now. We will see what happens as time transpires. So let's go ahead, and we're going to go ahead, and I always show this nice giant blown up view of this. And so if we look at one disc or 2 different vertebrae, the vertebrae, you know, this one is 1 and this one is 2, and the disc in the center. So between 2 vertebrae you have a disc, you have your spinal cord, as long as you're not below L1, which we can talk about, spinal cord, and then you have the what we call the peripheral nerves that come off of the spinal cord, and then obviously, and those make up your arms and your legs, those peripheral nerves do, as well as all the little soft tissue in the joints here. So this is kind of like, just think about if we pulled 2 of these bones off and then basically blown it up like this. So like I was saying, the spinal cord itself ends about L1, L2. So that's lumbar spine 1, lumbar spine 2. So we have 5 of these little L spines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 of those lumbar spine. Then it goes to the thoracic or T spine, and those are 12 of those. And then we have 7 vertebrae in our neck. So we're talking just down below here, right next to the good old hippie hips. And so that S1 is right there, then L5, and then so on and so forth up to L1. So that L1 is right where your spinal cord ends for most people. There's some variations, but for the most part, most people, your spinal cord ends about L1, L2, usually L1, and then it just turns into these little, what we call the horse's tail in English, but they call the equina area, so it's got these basically fancy term for horse's tails. That's what they thought, you know, how many hundreds of years ago when they first started looking at the spinal cord and the spinal nerves and dissecting them. That's what they saw. They saw those little nerves coming off, and they said, oh, okay. So really your spinal cord ends at that level, and the rest of it is essentially peripheral nerves. I got one in here, Miss English teacher in France. Parlez-vous français? That's all I know, oui, oui. 2 years of French in high school, and that's all I got to show for it. So that is where that ends. That means that your spinal cord, that looks like something you'd find in an adult novelty store. You know that thing right there, man? This little model right here that you're seeing, guess how much this model cost? Now this is the cheapest I could find it. Craigslist, eBay, Amazon. Kind of give a ballpark guess of how much money you think I spent on this little thing. Shout out to all, Carl Jeff TV, come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in and get some connections. We're talking about the disc. We're talking about the lumbar spine right now. We're going over the basic anatomy of the spinal nerves and the lower back. Come on in, get connected. Hopefully give me a thumbs up. Shout me out would be awesome. That would be great. Hi, Mom. How you doing? Miss, got Lena Parrish in here. Psst, psst. Lena's in here. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, everyone. Come on in. We're talking about the disc. We're talking about the lumbar spine here. My next 4 videos are going to be on the lumbar spine, specifically disc issues. Uh-oh, Lena Parrish says hi at Ernie Hatmaker. Come on over. So we have a connection between Miss Ernie Hatmaker. It's coming already. Look at it, look at it. I got to put my hands down for a second. I got to type this for a second. Bear with me. V5 World and other games, come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. We're just getting started on the disc issues that we're going to talk about to the lower back, which is this green area highlighted in the spine. Thumbs up. Thank you so much. Miss Ernie Hatmaker at V5 World. Hey, look at, look at, look at. We're getting some good love in here, some good connections. Come on in. So we're just starting to talk about the spine itself. And I just got done saying where the spinal cord ends, about L1, L2. And then from that part, it turns into what we call the horse's tail or the cauda equina. Okay. is that really is that real? Well, yeah, it's real. You mean is it from a cadaver? No, no. This is a very expensive reproduction model of a human. And it's all different colored, highlighted, so you guys have a good representation of what I'm talking about. If I say blue, you know the blue, the purple, the green, and obviously the orange. And so kind of gives a nice little color coordination. It kind of pops out better. A real human would be very expensive, as well as it would be a very light, bony color like that. It would be much lighter, though, than that. The whole spine would be. Happy Lux, come on in. Welcome, 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 Mr. Happy. Thank you for coming. We're talking about the disc right now at the lower spine. Oh, look at Happy Lux, left to light. Thank you so much. If you could shout me out, Mr. Happy Lux. I know you got a lot of subscribers there, brother. Come on, shout me out. Come on now. Show a little love. Okay, so we were talking about that lower back, and we're talking about right where that spinal cord ends. About, if I'm going to come in here a little bit closer on you all so you can see a little bit better. I'm just moving my cords around so I don't roll over them. Let's connect, everyone. That's right, Fee-Fi. Go ahead and show some love out there. Just be careful on what you guys describe. Otherwise, I got to delete it because I don't want to get dinged by good old-fashioned Big Brother or YouTube. And so when we look at the spine, right there, the blue is, your camera is very clear. Good. I'm glad it is. I hope so. It's the iPhone 10. My other camera's a 1080p. This is probably 1080p too, but this has to do with my internet also. I have a very good internet service. So the blue is where the thoracic spine is. That's where it ends. Your thoracic spine is very long. It's 12 of these bones all together that make up that mid part of your back where your ribs and all your organs are, or most of them anyways. And then so we come down into the green to the lumbar spine. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then orange is the S, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So right about once you get to that L1 area is where that cord, that spinal cord ends. The spinal cord. And so after that's all those little nerves. You know, you get peripheral nerves out to the side, as well as this kind of tail going down through the spinal cord area, through that canal area. So that's where you have to stop worrying about what we call central nervous system issues versus peripheral nervous system issues. So if you have a spinal cord injury, you definitely want it below L1 if you can. Like you have a choice. Fee-Fi World, thank you so much. Very interesting. I try to make it interesting as well as you guys connecting. You know, that's what I try and do on my live streams, is make it interesting, hopefully learn a few things, as well as hopefully get some good healthy connections so you'll come back and watch me again, right? I want to be watched again, obviously, you know, and hopefully teach you guys some stuff while I'm at it, and that you guys will keep coming back. You know, it's not all about connecting, which obviously that's a piece of it, but some of it I'm hoping you guys come just to, you know, entertain a little bit as well as learn something. I appreciate everything you do. We family in New York City, yes. Yes, say hello to Dobbs Ferry for me. That's where I went to school. I went to Mercy College. That's where I got my doctorate degree from. Mercy College in Dobbs Ferry, New York, just across the tap. Okay, shout out to Mercy College. Like they'll ever see my stuff anyways. And so you have these very large discs all the way through your lumbar. You have it through your entire spine, but they're very large down here, as well as the bones are very large for an obvious reason. It has to take all this weight. So it needs to be large. It can't be tiny. If it was tiny, you know, you'd snap in half or whatever. And the fact also is it takes that brunt all the time. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, twice on Sunday. So gravity loves to push down on us. And so as the day goes on, our disc starts to squish down. And as we go back to sleep, we lie on our backs. or sides or stomach. I wouldn't prefer sleeping on your stomach. That's not healthy for the disc or the spine. But then when you wake back up, it kind of rehydrates itself. We call it rehydration effect. And so the height of the spine and all the little spinal joints and the nerves all in there are all nice aligned again, nicely spaced apart. And then you start your day over again. So it's very important when you wake up the next morning that you don't have, if you have a disc problem, that you're not waking up the next day with radiating pain again or radicular pain. Because that's telling me that that disc is really compromised and it's not allowing enough of the height of the vertebrae so that the nerve isn't being pinched at all on the sides. Cubs Den Extra, Doc, my main account is tied up again. Have you running on here till you're done. Thumbs up. Oh, thank you so much, Miss Cubs Extra. Miss Cubs Den Extra. This Miss Cubs, she's got Miss Cubs Den. She's got Miss Cubs Live. And now she's got Miss Cubs Extra. And she's got, well, she doesn't, but her significant hubby other is Mr. Blue Jeans. I mean, this girl is, she's got some accounts. I got to give you that. You know how many accounts I have? One. So I'm very thankful. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, as well as Scully thanks you that you're willing to give me some watch time. I appreciate it. I need a ton, like I'm sure everybody else does. I think I've just got over 900 hours of the total 4,000 you need. So yeah, I'm not even close. Like a ton of other people, and that's okay, I guess. I'd like to be closer, right? Okay, where is everyone? Let's grow. I've been saying that forever, Fee-Fi Gaming. I've been saying that forever. Now, I've had, what was it? Last Wednesday or Thursday? I might have been Thursday. I had like, at one point, 17 people in the chat. I mean, I was bonkers. I was so elated. And I'm excited all the time because I like doing this kind of stuff. Excuse me, but I was just beyond myself. So hopefully it'll happen again. We'll see. Oh, at Fee-Fi World and Gaming, I adopted you and left my mark. Look at that. There you go, Fee-Fi. You got a faithful new viewership, Miss Ernie Hatmaker. Woo! Okay. Fatim. Hi, Fatima. Fatima's in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Like the video. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Hopefully you can get some understanding. If you get some connections in here, I have some people that you might not be connected to before. So come on in. Let's see what you can do. Okay, and so when you go to sleep, you're shorter than when you wake up. So when you wake up, you're as tall as you're going to be all day. That's right. So if you are short now, sorry, you're probably still going to be short next day. Depending on what you think short is. But anyway, that's another conversation. So the problem here is this. So let's follow that little thought pattern. If you have a disc problem where you're getting pinching on the nerve, let's see if I can find a, there we go. Let's say you have a disc problem, see, and it pushes on that nerve, that yellow thing right there, that's your peripheral nerve. And you go to sleep, right? It's all smushed down. You go to sleep, you wake back up, and it should hopefully have collapsed back in on itself. If you wake up the next day and it's the same, okay, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign at all. One of two things that means. Either A, your disc can't reduce at all because it's so far out into the canal. So if I talk about the canal for a second, that canal where that nerve comes out through, that disc is so far into the canal, or encroachment we call it, all right, that when you fall asleep and wake back up, the disc doesn't rehydrate itself. It stays just like that. Versus other people, it rehydrates and then reduces, And then when you wake up in the morning, your pain is either less in the leg or is completely resolved. And then when you wake up and as the day goes on, it gets worse again. So that's a real kind of one of our ideas that we think of as therapists when someone asks you, when is your pain the worst? When your pain is the best or the least? I'm getting shorter all the time. Yeah, I will tell you just if, you know what? That reminds me, before I forget, I will tell you there's 3 main things that affect our height as we age. One I've already talked about, that's the disc. The discs lose their height permanently throughout your all the disc in your spine, neck, mid-back, and lower back. They all reduce over time and they don't completely rehydrate. That's the reason why degenerative disc is a normal process. Yes, that whole DDD, the disease part, it's a normal process. We got Miss Lena Parrish just talking, hey, happy, Ernie Hatmaker. You got Miss Parrish coming on over to you. So, that's the first thing, the discs start to lose their height. The second thing is you have a fat pad, or everybody does, has a fat pad in the bottom of your heel. The calcaneal bone, at the bottom of it, there's a fat pad. And as we age, that starts to flatten out. It's not as bulbous as it used to be. And so, you know, figure something that like a bulbous, and as you get older, it starts to flatten out and you start to lose your height because of your fat pad in your heel. And the big one that people don't think about is the angle, this angle right here of this is your pelvis. Let me go ahead and orient you guys for a second, if you don't already know. This is one hip, this is your pelvis, and this is your lower spine and your sacrum. This is your thigh bone. This is the ball and the socket of the femur. And so, as we age, that angle, you see my finger, is that angle starts to dip as we age because of gravity on both sides of our pelvis. So literally the angles of your hips start to come down as we age. And so that's the reason why. So this neck starts to, right where my finger's at, that's the neck. So that starts to tilt down. And so those 3 things essentially make up the lack of height that we lose as we get older because of gravity. Shout out to Zine's Corner. Tony's Corner. That took me for a second. Tony's Corner. This is Tony. Mrs. Tony. Shout out. Thank you so much. Come on in, get connected. I'm talking about the disc right now. I got sidetracked with Miss Ernie Hatmaker because she talked about being shorter, and I had to go ahead and throw the 3 real reasons why anatomically as we age, why we get shorter. Now the one that everybody always thinks about is you start to, you know, if you're bent over, that's usually either poor posture over years or some sort of bone problem, either bone density, you know, osteoporosis, or precursor osteopenia, or rheumatoid arthritis, or psoriatic arthritis, some sort of debilitating joint issue going on affects the spine and the joints, and you start to lose the height because of that. So that's another reason. But the other 3 are the real main 3 reasons why you lose your height as we get older. I'm going to refresh here for a second, see what we got. I got 7 watching. 7 faithful. I got 7 faithful watching. Come on in. If you have any questions, shout them out. I don't care if you think they sound stupid. They're probably not. They're not stupid. And probably someone else has the exact same question. They're probably just too scared to ask it. So I noticed that in some of the lives, I feel like some people could probably ask more questions, but they don't because they feel like they are, you know, like either A, they might interrupt me, which they're not. You're all involved. And if you don't ask, I don't know. I got 2 thumbs down. and 11 thumbs up. This is the first time I've had 2 thumbs down. This is awesome. I'm kind of curious what they think. Hard to tell. Maybe they're upset because they really thought I was in some sort of dead zone. Well, I do have a lot of bones around me, hence the word dead, and also I have no insulation, no heat. I'm currently sweating my tushy off, so I feel like I'm in the dead zone. All right, so when we talk about that disc, that's one of the big things. You want to, hopefully when you wake up the next day, your symptoms in your leg or your hip or wherever your pain's down in your, let's say it's in your arm and the disc issue is in your neck. Hopefully the pain down your arm is a lot less when you wake up than when you went to sleep because of what I just said. Now, there's another kind of elephant in the room, and that is the chemical response that your body has, the inflammatory or histamine response that your body has to those nerves. So let's say, for instance, that you do get a disc problem. Let's see if I can push it out so you can actually see it. So you do have a disc problem. It hits that nerve. It reduces back in on itself, but it causes a cascade event, which really gets this peripheral nerve swollen and inflamed, and you can't get the darn thing to calm down. So a lot of times the doctor that you go to, your primary care doctor, is going to cross their fingers and hopefully give you some oral steroids, usually prednisone. They could be dexamethasone. There's a couple of different kinds out there that they'll give you. They'll give you a pack, and there has a ramp up and a ramp down because steroids have a half-life or shelf life in our body because they're what we call fat-soluble drugs. That means that the drug stays within the fat cells for a period of time. And so you don't want to just turn off steroids. You could really screw yourself up. So you want to teeter up and we want to teeter back down. But the whole idea is to really get that chemical response to stop and see if that in itself will calm down your symptoms. So we'll go ahead and see if that will help your overall symptoms. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. I think sometimes it does help initially, but if you continue to do the same thing that caused the problem in the first place, like, I talk about bad sitting, being a letter C, and you're not supposed to be, you're supposed to be a letter S. You had that nice little curve that we talk about in your lower back, but if you're all kind of flexed and rounded out all the time, you can really keep this inflammatory process perpetuating or keeping it going within the spine and within the joint. And even with the steroids, it calms it down a little bit, but if you continue what I call picking at the scab, when you pick at a scab, the scab won't heal. The same thing with the inflammatory process. That inflammatory process is going to keep right on trucking as fast as it can or even faster if you don't calm down what's causing the symptoms in the first place. If one is bad, will it cause other disc problems? Thanks, Mom, for keeping the process going. Yes. It's it's what we call anecdotally, which means is we really don't have any, we didn't have any research. It was almost like, yeah, common sense. But when we look at the research, yes, within 5 years of having some sort of, let's say you had a disc surgery, which we can talk about if you guys want to. Hello, hello, hello out there. Frugal Farmer channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in, Miss Frugal Farmer. Thank you for coming by. Hopefully leave a thumbs up, leave a comment. Hopefully you can get some good viewership and subscribers from my particular live stream today. We're talking about disc issues in the lumbar spine. And I just got done talking about when you go to bed and when you wake up, how we want the disc to react. We talked about some chemical responses that occur and why we take steroids, hopefully to reduce that chemical response. I gotta turn my fan, I'm sweating to death. Yes, that's right. Hello, Frugal Farmers. Yeah, Ernie's here. Yes, she was. I'm not sure if she's still here or if she stepped out, but Miss Ernie Hatmaker was here. Yes, she was for a short period of time. And so that's that particular problem when we look at that disc on the side, pushing out into the canal area. Now, let's say that the chemicals themselves in your body has finally calmed down, the disc has recessed, but now we could be dealing with the after effect. You could be dealing with the muscles that are still in pain. Your pain's going to be less. It might not be in your leg or arm anymore, but you might have some what we call centralization, which means that the pain is drawn out of the leg or the arm, and it's gone back in the arm, it's gone back to the neck, or in the leg, it's gone back to the lower back area. So we call that centralization. So now we might be dealing with just the joint on the side and the tissue within that joint that got injured or inflamed, as well as all the muscles that attach to the joint can also get inflamed, and they need to calm down and heal too. So once you get the nerve pain to calm down, then we can start to address the joint issues and the muscle tissue issue. If you go to a physical therapist, and I've seen this when I've seen patients from other physical therapists or chiropractors or whoever, but those are the two people, those are the two different disciplines that I end up seeing when a doctor sends them to somewhere else because they didn't get better. What I've noticed is that the chiropractor or the other physical therapist did not address the nerve issue first. They started addressing the back pain or the lack of motion you have in your spine or muscle weakness or flexibility issues. They did not address the nerve issue first. That's the first thing you have to address when you're having problems, whether it's arm symptoms or leg symptoms. You have to address the nerve issues first. If you go to one of those disciplines and they're not addressing your nerve issue first, you need to go back to your primary care doctor because these people don't know what they're doing. And I've seen that before. Unfortunately, they're not, I don't know if they're just confused or oh, I got Tuber Chat. Tuber Chat's in the house. Thank you so much, Mr. Tuber Chat. Come on in. I'm talking about the disc at the lower back today. This is a guy, Mr. Tuber Chat. I found him initially on the Melda family channel. This was probably, 5-6 months ago. He started right around that same time. He does live streams. He does an instructional based live streams when it comes to your channel. If you're a content creator, he kind of goes over all the idiosyncrasies of the doing a YouTube channel, as well as live streams, as well as making content. So if you need help with your channel at all, I would advise you to go over there and see him. He will go ahead and put you on his list, and he will go ahead and look over your channel and kind of give you some advice and some tips on how to either improve your channel, whether it's through the content or through your channel art or your thumbnails. And so he's kind of encapsulate. From what I understand, I want to put words in his mouth, but from what I can get so far, that's kind of the niche or the niche of his particular channel itself. Thanks for the promo. I'm happy to be checking your LS out today. Well, thank you so much. And hopefully, in your own live streams, hopefully you'll go ahead and shout me out when I show up at your channels. Or I should say at your channel or at your live stream. And so, people always think when they see my stuff, they think I'm a chiropractor. I don't know, that's what they think initially. A stake goes through my heart like a vampire when I hear that. But to each their own. But no, I'm a physical therapist. I do have a doctorate degree in physical therapy. At Frugal Farmer channel, I got Mr. Tuber Chat coming over to you, throwing the heart out for you. Hopefully you can go over and get a nice connection. Obviously what you want to do is at least watch it at least a couple minutes. Leave a comment that actually makes sense to the actual video, because if you don't do any of that stuff, YouTube's going to put it in spam, or who knows where it goes. It goes into the ether. You might not even get it into a spam channel, or your spam box. Okay, and so that's the disc part. Now this disc is a gelatinous, thick, viscous tissue. Like I said, it gets hydrated. It loses its density over the day from gravity. It's designed to give cushion to the entire spine like a spring. When we walk, when we move, when we twist, when we turn, okay? And so that gives us our spring as well as the curves in our spine. These three curves, I'm gonna back up to show you the curves. The three curves in our spine act as a spring. They help reduce all the pressure equally through the entire spine. And so when you start having irregular movements of our spine, like how people sit, which is exactly what I'm showing right now. People kind of sit like this versus sitting like that, like you're supposed to, where you sit on your butt bones instead of sitting on your sacrum. All right, when you sit like that, you change the forces of your spine. You put excessive stress on your disc as well as the joints on the spine itself. They have cartilage on them. Your joints, every single joint along your spinal column glides on one another like that. It has cartilage on either end. All right, and it has this called synovial fluid that allows that lubrication. And when you sit irregularly, you squeeze all that stuff out, things get inflamed over time. You wonder why you have pain. So as we age, when the disc starts to lose its height naturally over time, as well as it starts to ossify over time, it doesn't get as viscous, as thick as it used to, or as hydrated. Like I said before, that's the reason why we lose some of our height. You can see how it's easy to get your spine inflamed as we age. So that's the reason why you look at some of my stuff in my playlist underneath my back that goes over flexibility and strengthening exercises, as well as treatments for disc problems, as well as treatments for spinal stenosis problems, as well as just generalized arthritis in your spine. I'm giving out free advice. So I always get baffled by, why ain't people getting this? So I'm really hoping that it's just I'm not out there enough. Who knows? But if you hear anybody out there, or yourself or family members, that's having problems, what I'm talking about today, even if they want to subscribe, they don't have to subscribe. I wish they would. But if they don't, bring them over. Or you watch it, or they watch part of it, and give them some information, give them some tips. Hopefully help themselves out. Knowledge is power. It's all about that wet stuff between our two ears. So I implore you guys and gals, all right? So, all right, I'm going to get off my soapbox for a second. Didn't know I was buffering. I was on Amazon, but listening. At first, I did believe you may be a chiropractor. As a therapist, I'm sure we have a lot to learn from you. Yeah, I know. But a chiropractor has DC after their name. Of course, on the internet, all the chiropractors think they're medical doctors. If you ever watch any of these chiropractors on their channels, they present themselves as medical doctors. They're all like, I'm Dr. So-and-so, and this is how he fixed this or that. And they're talking about vitamins or nutrition, or they're talking about, some sort of process in their body. And I'm like, oh my God, please stop calling yourself that. You're confusing the public. And that's all they know they're doing. Once you call yourself doctor, everybody thinks you're a medical doctor. Wrong. Unless you have MD at the end, you're going to be either a DC, Doctor of Chiropractor, a DPT, Doctor of Physical Therapy. You could have PharmD, Doctor of Pharmacy. You could have, nurse practitioners have their doctorate degree now. Nurses have a doctorate degree now. It's damn near confusing. So that's the reason why I really try myself just to say, Doctor of Physical Therapy. it's great that you're sharing your knowledge. I'm sure your channel will grow faster than you expect now, and you'll reach many people who can benefit from what you share. Thank you so much, Mr. YouTuber. I hope the same too. I've been doing this since late November of last year. I've really started to give myself at least decent quality content probably the last 3 months. Before then, you know, I was making content and stuff was appropriate, but I was still learning just the basics of YouTube and how to make a video. I mean, I still have tons and tons to learn, and I'll continue to learn and change my channel, as obviously you should. Improve your content as we go along. But anyways, I thank you so much for your positive remarks. Can I be a doctor of YouTube analytics? I'm sure if DeVry University or somebody out there wants to give a doctor, you know, an honorary, I mean, you have these actors or, you know, somebody who gives a university, you know, a boatload of money, and they give themselves an honorary doctor degree. And the reality is that doctor degree is about as good as wiping your rear end with, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Miss Parrish is still here. Much love to you. I think I have 6 in the house. I got a few people coming and going. You know, YouTube lately has been doing a lot of disconnecting on me. I mean, I went to Ernie. Ernie doesn't know this because I didn't say anything. But I went to Ernie and Ed's channel here the last couple of days. I've had to resubscribe to them every single day. I think I've seen the last... Ed's made 2 or 3 videos this week. I've seen all 3, as well as Ernie's made a few. I've had to resubscribe every single time. I watch their entire content. I have subscribe and bells on for these brothers and sisters. And it's still, YouTube is unsubscribing to me every single time. It's absolutely retarded. Oop, I said that. I don't mean anything by it, but it is. YouTube itself is. I'm leaving appropriate comments. I'm watching the entire videos. I've been subscribed to them for weeks and weeks and weeks with the bells on. And YouTube is unsubscribing me. They did it 3 times this week for me. 2 for Ernie. No, 2 for Ed and 1 for Ernie for me. So it's doing it for everybody. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I really wish those the humans that work on YouTube instead of the robots or whatever you want to call them, they need to get the humans back in, because they're really starting to piss me off. Because other people are making content. I have 1,600 subscribers, all right? So if YouTube is not telling me, oh, one of my subscribers has made up a new content because YouTube in its infinite wisdom has unsubscribed me, next thing you know, I'm not going to know. I have 1,600 subscribers. I can't collect through 1,600 people. YouTube's got to do its job with the bell on and tell me, or, you know, prompt me when one of my subscribers has come out with a new video. And so I'm sure I'm missing people's videos because YouTube has done that. Ridiculous. So be mindful of you guys. Be mindful out there. I'm not sure if it's happening to you, but I'm sure it is, because it's happening to me. All right. I don't know how I got off on that rant, but I did. Oh, probably because YouTuber, yeah, Mr. YouTuber, Tuber Chat got me talking about he's going to get an honorary doctorate degree in the analytics. Well, let me tell you, sir, if you want, you could probably, I know it for a fact, the analytics and algorithms, all right, I know statistics. I mean, I know some statistics. I'm not a statistician by no stretch of imagination, but I had to take multiple statistical classes in college. I did a research project. Obviously, I had a clinical doctorate degree, so I had to do research. And so I took multiple classes on statistics itself, and practical statistics and research. And I still don't have a good grip on it. And so I would love if you know, when you do a lot more of that, you know, breaking YouTube down into the finer aspects of those particular analytics that we see behind the scenes. I mean, that in itself, if you can dumb that down, that would be awesome. I mean, I have a hard time. So I know if nobody has, education in statistics, or if they haven't done practical statistics like I have, then I know this stuff is like right over their heads, because statistics is not easy to begin with. So if you can do stuff like that, oh man, you're gonna get people left. I know you're already getting people, but you're gonna get them by the boatloads, man. They're gonna come to your shores. Ahoy, matey! Hi, hi, hi! And they're gonna come and just sit and listen to you all day long. Connect and grow. Can I be? Oh wait, what's going on here? I thought I gotta refresh again. Yeah, my chat got stuck. Here we go. I don't like to complain, but I've never seen a social network with so many issues then go unresolved. Yeah. I love statistics, but not for more formally. I will do a series on YouTube analytics. Yeah. Yeah, you could do a 30-part series on that, brother. No doubt. Yeah, it's really, I mean, YouTube as a whole, the company, is really relying, and you can see what's happening on us on the back scene who makes the content, is really noticing it like, wow, you people are really dropping the ball here. And they're making a crap load of money on advertisements on us, on our backs, because I don't make a dime. I mean, I'm not even monetized, for Pete's sakes. So they're making buku dollars, all right? Buku dollars on advertisement on the backs of people that don't even make any money, and even when you do get monetized, you have to have at least, thousands and thousands of views if you want to just advertise. I mean, that's a whole other discussion. But anyways, all right, so let's get back on to what I know more of, which is this stuff. So we talked about the height of the disc, we talked about the nerves, we talked about your height itself and how it's affected. We talked about the disc itself and what happens when you go to bed and wake up, and if it doesn't do certain things, you have problems. We talked about why a doctor might give you steroids. One confusing thought I see a lot with things is the difference between pain pills, anti-inflammatories, muscle relaxers, and yeah, that's the three. That's the big three. I was going to say one more, but I'm not. So people think when they have muscle relaxers, they should have less nerve pain. And if they have nerve pain medication, they should have less muscle spasms, or they should have less pain. Boy, they got that all wrong. So let's say you're having neuropathic pain symptoms from a disc or from a chemical response that's irritated the nerve. The reality is this: if they're not giving you a nerve pain medication like Neurontin or gabapentin, Lyrica, all these different kinds of nerve pain pills out there on the market, they're not giving you something like that, and they're giving you a muscle relaxer for a nerve pain problem, your pain ain't going to get any better. You're basically putting a round peg in a square hole, or a square peg in a round hole. It don't fit. That's the same idea. And people are like, why am I not getting any better? Well, that's because they're not giving you the right medication to calm down your symptoms. And let's say you're having a lot of, you're just having a lot of inflammation in this area, and they're giving you a muscle relaxer or a nerve pain pill. It ain't gonna work. They need to give you an anti-inflammatory, or you need to put you on steroids, all right, to reduce that inflammation. So if you think about a disc problem or a back problem in general, and think about just kind of those basic three general categories, an anti-inflammatory based pain, then you just have arthritic joint pain, and then you have that nerve based pain. If you don't have the right medication, and for the particular problem going on, you ain't gonna get any better. I'm gonna have to get some more root beer pretty soon here, guys. What happens when you talk too much and you don't get any chat? No one's got any questions. I can't believe this. Shout me out, share me out. I got 6 people in this house. I can't believe I only have 6 people. I'm just baffled by it. 1,600 subscribers, and I have 6 people in my I have 1,600 subscribers, and I have 6 people in my live chat giving out information that you normally would pay up to probably $1,200-$1,500 for. People, you can't even give this away. I can't even give this away to people. Absolutely insane. It's like, oh my God. The public, not the American public, the global public in this entire planet. I tell you, sad. Absolutely sad. I can't believe this. 1,600 people and I have 6 people. Wow. That's all I gotta say is wow. Anyways, I don't want to hear anybody out there in the world says, I don't know what's going on. I don't have a clue why I hurt. Well, you flipping idiots. If you'd actually open up your ears, open up your eyes, all right, and actually tune in, you might learn something. Oh man, so sad. I want to thank all the people that actually are tuning in today, as well as tuned in before, and not, hopefully get, obviously what you want to come for is get a good, connection with a subscriber, and get good viewership with them in the future, but hopefully also learn something. I mean, I can't believe, really? People get like 30, 40, 50, 60 subscribers, or not subscribers, but viewers in their LS, and all they're looking at is their flipping phone the whole time. Oh yeah, so-and-so is saying this, and so-and-so is saying that. Really? Really? I understand why you're doing it. But really? You're getting that many people? I just am baffled by it, that people stick around for that long while someone just sits and reads off. I real like I should just sit here with a book and just read like Mary Had a Little Lamb, or the 3 Little Pigs, or maybe the 3 Little Bears, or something like that, a Little Red Riding Hood or something. It's like insane. I just am baffled by it. I don't know what you guys think, but I am shocked by it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I just can't wrap my brain. Maybe I'm just too dumb. Maybe I just can't. I'm too dumb and can't comprehend this. All right, I'm going to continue on my quest to educate the world out there for free. That's right. No, I said that, not Scully. All right. As we age, I talked about that disc going down. What you might not realize at the first glance is that nerve that comes out, this is your spinal cord, that nerve that comes out from the side that makes up your arm and your leg, called the peripheral nerve. All right? See all these nerves that come out from the side, all the way down through? And they make up your arms, your legs, your ribs, the organs, and everything else. That has a canal. That nerve has to come through. As we age, you can see that canal getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And so that means that nerve doesn't have as much space to move around in, and it's very easy to get inflamed. Next thing, but what's that called when something is narrow around this, as well as it can get very arthritic in there? So the size of that canal gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller for that nerve to come through. That's called stenosis. And if you have that stenosis on top, say, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow. Yes, I know. I'm not quitting my day job. If I could sing really well, you think I'd be doing this? Uh-oh. Miss Galaxy's in the house. Miss Galaxy's in the house. I got deep flow music in the house. Deep flow music in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Get some good connections. You just missed my rant and complaining. Darn, you just missed my rant. That's probably a good thing. You probably run out of here. But we're just talking about the disc. My next 4 videos are going to talk about the lower back issues, disc problems. So I just got done. I'm here supporting you, buddy. Much love to you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Scully thanks you. I got to Scully's missing here. There we go. I got to turn Scully a little bit. He's hiding in the background. I'm telling you, I'm thinking about getting this guy animatronic. I've been saying it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. I think I might. Oh, that's right. I got to spend my money somewhere else. Something always comes up, folks. Tuber chat connection with Miss Galaxy. Come on in. Look at that. Locked and loaded. Locked and loaded. Beautiful. I got 12 thumbs up and 2 thumbs down. Well, at least they thought enough to give me a thumbs down. That's all I got to say. Thanks for giving me something. Okay. And so we talked about that canal getting narrowed over time, and that's called stenosis. And so when you get something inflamed in there, what happens? Thank you so much for liking it, Mr. Flo or Mrs. Flo. I think that, oh, Mrs. Flo. Mrs. Flo. Go Donnie, come on in. What's going on, young man? GoDonnie.com. Come on in. Get connected. I got some new people in here for ya. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're talking about disc issues. We're talking about my next 4 videos are about the lower spine. And I'm going to be changing it up a little bit. I'm going to be looking a little bit more professional than I have in the past to see if my viewership changes once I start throwing some more terms at you, as well as start looking the part more. Always come in and see what the latest health issues are happening. Well, today we're talking about disc problems, and I would dare say that in your lifetime, 80, 90, not 100%, but it's got to be darn near, 80% of the human population will probably have a disc problem somewhere in their spine affecting their function. So you probably should listen in. See these big ears? My brother used to say I had big ears. Better to hear you with. Better to hear you with, Grandma. Well, these teeth, they're better to bite you with. All right, if you didn't see that earlier, that was my take on Little Miss Riding Red, or Red Riding Hood. Let me get the folktale out there correctly. All right, and so what happens with that narrow canal there is that when you do have a chemical response from a disc or the joint along the backside gets inflamed, it's very easy to get nerve radiating pain because the inflammation, the swelling, doesn't have a lot of space to go into. When you're younger, you can get a lot of inflammation and not really affect that nerve too much because you got a lot of space in there. But when you get that canal collapsed down through time, it's very easy to get that area inflamed. And next thing you know, you have radiating symptoms down your arm or down your leg, depending on what we're talking about. Today we're talking about your lower back, so it's down your pelvis into your leg. And people always say sciatica. And it doesn't really have to be the sciatic nerve. All right, so we talked about the disc, what happens. Now let's talk about, let me move this because this is getting heavy and I'm getting hot. So we talked about Joe is awesome. Oh, thank you so much. Much love to you. So yes, I'm going to be kind of changing things a little bit my next 3 or 4 videos to see how well my viewers like you and everybody else perceives me. So I'm going to be doing some wardrobe changing and see what happens. Worst case scenario is I don't go anywhere. I know if you guys have seen any of my other kind of wacky videos where I had 2 characters, oh, what were they called? Oh, Dr. Know-It-All and Dr. Cool Cats. I did those guys for about 5 or 6 videos, and I didn't really, I mean, I got some viewership, but I didn't really see kind of a steady incline, so I'm putting them in the kind of like the wastebasket for a little bit. Never wastebasketing Scully. Scully and me, we're here to stay, but I'm going to be turning it a little bit, continuing with the series approach, which obviously I'm going to be doing that for quite a while because I like that. It kind of organizes my channel as well as kind of gives people an idea of the process from start to finish with an injury. But we're going to be changing it up a little bit, so stay tuned for Sunday's drop video. And also I do my, if you look at my channel art, change is good. Yeah, we'll see what happens. A little bit of change. I don't want to throw through much change out there, and all of a sudden I start losing a lot of viewership. Just little tweaks here and there. And so I'm always Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, my live streams. Obviously today's Wednesday is my first live stream of the week. This week's live streams are basically going to be on the spine and the disc because that's what my next 4 videos are about. Kind of makes sense, kind of go towards that direction. So let's go ahead, and we're talking about the disc itself. It's made of that gelatinous thick tissue. When you're young, it's very thick, viscous, excuse me, very thick. Keeps the height. It can take a lot of tolerance. It can take a lot of beating. And as we age, obviously it can't no more. And it starts to dry out. I had one neurosurgeon that told me years ago that the disc is kind of like seaweed, the kind of texture and the feeling of it. If you ever seen dried out seaweed, that's what the disc looks like when it dries out and it becomes degenerated and it really doesn't keep its height anymore. It gets all dried out. So that kind of gives you an idea of a nice nourished seaweed disc versus a not so nourished seaweed, which is a disc. Realizing the nerve endings of the disc do not exist. There's no nerve endings within the disc itself. So you can have a lot of bulges, a lot of tears within the disc itself and not have any symptoms. It's not until you start causing the disc to push out onto the nerve or cause a lot of shearing effects within the joint space back here, too much movement because the disc height is being lost, or a quick like boom like that, or a quick shifting forwards where the nerve endings on the vertebral body or the body of the bone itself all of a sudden get activated. Then you talk about a lot of pain. But the disc itself does not have any nerve endings. Thumbs up, 2 thumbs down, 5 watching right now. Beautiful. So, this disc itself, as well as the disc in your entire spine, even a little spiny here, all lose their height. So it's very important that we do range of motion based exercises. We try and stand up every once in a while to reduce that compression on the disc and the joint, because the only way our disc is nourished, as well as the facet joints, or any joint in our body, is through synovial fluid, not blood flow. So we call motion is lotion. You got to have nice equal motion throughout the day, reducing compressive forces that helps keep that synovial fluid coming in and going back in and out. And that's what you want, because if that doesn't happen, you start to get inflammation starting to occur, and you start to have a lot of problems with that. So non-compressive forces is what you want your spine to be doing throughout the day. If you're doing a lot of static sitting throughout the day, you're going to start to have problems, whether either the disc, the joint, or the muscles themselves being over elongated for long periods of time. So on that note, I gotta get a new drink of soda. I'll be right back. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. Hopefully our people will get some new people. Hopefully shout me out, leave some comments. I will be right back. All right, I'm back. Hopefully everybody's still here. Oh, I got 8 in the house. What? 8 in the house. Uh-oh. There we go. Well, it's taking a while to recycle. I think I'm freezing up here a little bit on this thing. Come on. Oh, man. Don't mind me, I think it's going to take a while. I might actually have to shut that down and redo it because it's not being friendly. It's freezing up on me. Yep. Let's shut it down. Open her back up. Come on. It could be the computer's starting to get old. Ooh. Crazy. Anyways, all right. Hopefully you guys are talking because I have currently no idea. All right. So I have 12 thumbs up and 6. Does that say 6? 6 people here. I think that's what it says. This site can't be reached. Now, how the heck can YouTube not be reached? Crazy. There we go. Now we're cooking. Nicole's in the house. Hi, Nicole. I got 7 watching. Okay. Thanks for staying. Much love to you all. Hopefully shout me out if you haven't already. I know a lot of people have. If you have any questions, go ahead and shout them out right now. I am here. So we talked about this crazy thing called this disc and how it really works. D-Flow Music says love. Thank you so much. Much love to you. Gonna take you bike riding with me. Yes, I love that. When I saw Ed's video and I saw you ride like literally it's a brief millisecond where you're riding your bicycle across Ed's video. I was like, hey, there's Ernie on her bike. Oh man, I thought that was good. I thought that was awesome. Okay, and so, boy, I got a shiny forehead. I need to get powdered up, makeup, make myself look young again. Anyways, so this disc over time, like I said, flattens out. And all these little nerve endings around the area, there's no nerve endings in the disc, but the nerve endings around the body, as well as the big nerve on the back side. Now you don't realize this, but there's a huge thick ligament between, and it's not shown here, but if you could think of between here and the nerve, there's a huge thick ligament. Anterior anterior longitudinal ligament, this is called, and that can get thick over time. Now, that's happening from stress as well as the joints themselves. This facet joint on the side that I always show on either side, that gets thick, arthritic over time, the facet. excuse me, soda, excuse me, that joint itself can get arthritic and give you some facet syndrome because of that facet syndrome coming from that particular thing, that particular joint, I should say. The disc, when it ruptures, or let's just say it bulges. A bulge is where the nerve, let's talk about the phases right now. We'll just go through the basics. So there's really three main phases of the disc. There's a bulge where the disc really isn't pushing on the nerve, it's just kind of protruding out. There's a herniation where you have encroachment of the disc on the nerve, or the disc is within the canal of the nerve. You have a sequela, all right, where it's kind of pushing out and it's kind of really pushing, probably have some disc fluid leaking into the canal space. And then you can have fragmentation, where the disc itself, a piece of it, literally shears and breaks off, and it's just floating around inside that canal. Fragmentation. That's not good at all. That's probably surgery, unless your body can reabsorb it. Now that's possible. Your body can reabsorb it if it thinks it's foreign, because when a disc breaks off and a piece of it's floating out there, your body's going to start bringing white blood cells and stuff to it, because it's going to recognize it as a foreign object in an area that doesn't belong there. Now, when your body starts to chew and break down that thing, that's called phagocytosis. And that's the process of your body breaking down a foreign whatever. And so that's what happens there, and it breaks it down and takes it away. And bye, bye, bye. Now, not bye, bye, bye. Bye, bye. Come on, people. Snap out of it. I mean, the cookie. Okay. And I'm just visiting. Well, I know, Nicole, you visit all the time. I got bit. Look at that. I was out mowing my lawn on Saturday, and I got bit. I finally started to stop itching. I went to the CVS and picked up some stuff to at least reduce the histamine process, as well as reduce this itching, so I wouldn't scratch at it. And so it's finally starting to calm down, but it's right in the bend of your elbow, man. Oh, it's terrible. Getting bit like that right in the crease of your elbow, or like the back of the knee. Terrible. Now, let's just start out with a bulge. It comes back in. It goes out further, gets a herniation. Comes back in. Now that part of the disc in that area is weak. So what will happen over time is scar tissue will go in and fill in that area, and hopefully scar that area down without scarring your nerve or adhering to the nerve, because you can see how close that disc is to that nerve. It's very easy for scar tissue to get in between there, and next thing you know, you have scar tissue on a nerve. That'd be a terrible thing. I got 6 in the house right now. Everybody's in the background, kind of hanging out. Okay, I was just clicking on. Maybe we'll get some more people coming in. Hard to tell. We got five or six right now, kind of sitting at there. People busy today, apparently. Hopefully we went back to work. It's getting to be around that time too, where I call it the witching hour. At least on the East Coast side, it's almost 6 o'clock. Okay, and so we talked about that disc and when it scars down in there. Let's talk about surgery just for a second. There's all different types of surgery that they can do for this particular problem. So let's start with the minimally invasive surgery that they can do for a disc herniation or fragmentation. Is anybody still here? Say aye. I want to know if I'm talking to myself. Probably am talking to myself. Yeah, I'm talking to myself. All my wonderful subscribers are in their background. Hi. Well, there we go. I at least got my own flesh and blood where I came from saying hi. I got to at least get that for Lord Pete's sake. If I can't get a hi out of my own mother, I need to just turn this thing off and throw it away. There we go. Paris says still here. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I realize everybody's busy. And they're all done listening to me talk and babble, pontificate on all kinds of nonsense. So, this little mushy disc thing. The kind of surgery, the most minimally invasive surgery they can do is just go in there and just take a piece of that disc that's broken off or a piece that's there and take it out and leave it. Leave it alone after that, excuse me. That's probably the most minimally invasive that can do. They don't tend to want to do that because when you see a surgeon, surgeons, they love to do surgery. They think they can fix everything with their surgery. Sometimes if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm getting hungry now. Oh, I understand, Paris. You can go ahead. I was just kidding. You can leave anytime you want. I appreciate you coming. Okay. The next most minimally, your next series is going to be about what? Oh, thanks, Mom. My next series is going to be about lumbar, lower back disc issues. You can't see where I'm pointing at. Lower lumbar disc issues is what my next 4 videos are going to be about. Oops, there goes the spine. It's going to be about, the first one, it's going to be this Sunday, it's going to be about kind of the anatomy of the disc itself. And then our next treatment is going to be, next video is going to be about treatment techniques that you can do at home. The third video is going to be about surgical techniques, which is what I'm going to talk about right now. And then the fourth and final one is going to be about treatment techniques that you will receive in the physical therapy clinic and a couple of different philosophies that physical therapists might take when it comes to a disc problem. Brillo Sorlo says, hi, come on in, hello. Visit my home, please. Oh, no, we're not seeing that one. No. Brillo Solar, you can come in and say hi and stuff like that and leave a nice comment, but no pleading, no crying, all that stuff that you should know already doing LSs. Thanks, and till next time. Thank you, Paris. Thanks for coming. Much love to you. I'll be back tomorrow as well as Friday. D-Flow, how is everyone? We're doing all right. It's been kind of slow. We've had 6 to 8 people probably through most of this live stream. This live stream it hasn't been one of our best. It hasn't been one of our worst either, but we're kind of in between. You know, if I can get 10 to 12 people, bye-bye. See you all. Bye. Thank you for coming. I do lives tomorrow and Friday also if you'd like to come and see me then. Much love. See you later. So I'm about going to finish up here. I'm about 20 minutes off my time, but that's okay. I like to do 2 hours, but sometimes you just can't get it all. Oh, that's okay, D-Flow. If you can't, that's fine too. But otherwise, that'd be great. I think at this point, I'm probably going to finish up the live stream. And this time tomorrow, I'll probably start where I stopped today, or do a quick review and then start what I'm going to talk about next, which is the different kinds of surgeries that you can do, or at least the minimally invasive surgeries that we see in physical therapy for disc and spine issues. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this chat up right now. I want to thank everybody for coming. And we'll go ahead and see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. It'll probably be right around that same time. 3, 4 o'clock. Probably 3, 4 o'clock. Is somewhere around there. Depending on when I get home from work. All right, then. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank you for coming. Have a good night.